Hi, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today in Math 7, we're going to start off with this worksheet and write some notes. These are some more like 6th grade level notes on inequalities, and then we're going to go into our math book, Chapter 6, Lesson 6, and go into a little more depth on this. So this goes along with Chapter 6, Lesson 6 in our math book. It'll be page 497 to the notes in the book will go to page 500. All right, but first let's just go over a few things. Put your name on here. What does inequality mean? Well, the definition for an inequality is located on page 498, and it states a mathematical sentence that compares quantities. Is a mathematical sentence that compares quantities. Okay, now for this symbol here, less than, it's called a less than symbol. So when you see the words less than, you would write that symbol in. Is fewer than. When you see this symbol, greater than. More than, and exceeds. When you see the word exceeds, you would use this symbol. Now for this one, is less than or equal to. Because it has the bar, that means less than and equal to. Exceeds. E-X-C-E-E-D-S.
The first one would be receives.
Okay, less than, fewer than, and I didn't give you a third choice on that one. But I could see where you said recedes. It's not a common word that we use in our math sentences, but I could see where you would come up with that. Greater than, more than, exceeds. This is less than or equal to. Another is no more than. This is one that they use a lot. Is no more than. When they use those words, you're going to use that symbol. Another one is at most. Is at most. When they use the word is at most, you'll use that symbol. And for the last one, is greater than or equal to. Is no less than, and I find these confusing because you're saying that's a greater than symbol, but is no less than. Just think, not less, so it's greater than, but sometimes they use the terminology is no less than. Is at least. All right. So make sure you get this written down. If you don't have enough time to write this down later on, you can go to my video and copy it at that time. Now, go ahead and read the ones that we have here on the paper and write down what you think an inequality is for the statement, and then I will give you the answers here in just a moment. All right, so this is what your answers should look like. And I'm going to give you a few hints of what to think about or look at when you are doing this. All numbers less than 7. So this represents all the numbers less than 7. Is it equal to 7? No, only less than 7. Any questions on that one? That one's easy. Should be an easy one. Let's look at the next one. You want to spend at most $40. Well, when I think of that one, I put down an X and I put down a 40. Can it equal 40? At most, yes. Can it be more than 40? No. It looks like this. And once again, if you look up what does the word at most is here. It's going to be the less than or equal to sign. Any questions on how to get that? The next one, more than 50,000 fans were in attendance. It's got to be more than 50,000. Can it be equal to 50,000? No, it is more than. And once again, ask yourself, can it be equal to? No, so you don't put the bar underneath it for equal to. It has to be greater than, more than. A number times 3, 3x, is greater than 42. See how to write that one down? Any questions? Wesley scored at least 3 runs in last night's game. So, did he score 3 runs? Yes. Did he score fewer than 3? No. At least means more than 3. At least. And once again, if you look up at least, there it is. That's the symbol. So Wesley is greater than or equal to 3. Now, if you wrote 3 is less than or equal to W, that is still correct. If you wrote 42 is less than 3x, that is correct. But most of you probably are going to write yours this way, where you have your variable on the left side. Tonight's homework has no less than 60 problems. Can it have 60 problems? I put an H and a 60, homework 60. Can it have 60? Yes. Can it have less? No less than, so that means it's going to be 60 or larger homework problems. Okay? Once again, what does no less than look like? Here are the words no less than. It looks like this. 3 times a number increased by 6, 3n plus 6, is at least 24. Can it be 24? Yes, that's the smallest it can be, so it's going to be 24 or bigger. It looks like that. And once again, at least is here with that symbol. And the last one for practice, 5 more than 4 times a number is greater than 17. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go to the next page. All right, we've already defined what an inequality is. We're just going to skip that. If you want to, you can write the definition again. It's a mathematical sentence that compares quantities. But now I want you to know when we graph it what you do. Whenever less, okay, this symbol means less than, and when you graph it, it's going to be an open circle. You'll see what that means in just a moment. Greater than, an open circle. Now when it says less than or equal to, you're going to fill in the circle. When it has that line, your circle has to be filled in so it includes the number. Do you get it? It has a line, so it's greater than or equal to, you'll fill in the circle. And not equal to, it doesn't have a graph there, or sometimes it will look like that if you have a unique situation for that. Now, let's go over here to make sure you understand which one of these will go with the math statement. Match the inequality. X is less than 7. Well, sometimes it's easier to read the statement and find the match. All numbers less than or equal to 7 goes to number 3. All numbers greater than 7. All numbers greater than or equal to 7. All numbers less than 7. Any questions on how to do that? You're familiar with that. Have you had this before? Okay. Some of you might not have. I just wanted to go through this before we started in our 7th grade level. Now, it says we can graph inequality solutions on a number line. Read the information below and fill in the table above appropriately. Well, we've already filled in the table. Used a closed dot. A closed dot is used when the endpoint is included in the solution. Use an open circle when the endpoint is not included in the solution. Okay, here we have to write an inequality for this graph. X is, it's less than, it's going to the left. It's smaller than 0. Is it equal to 0? Yes. X is less than and equal to 0. In the next problem, here it's an open circle, so it's not going to have the bar underneath it. X, it's going to the right, so it's bigger than 3. It's not equal to 3. X is greater than 3. Any questions on how to read that? Okay, now we're going to graph these. There are no numbers. So when there are no numbers in your graph, 0 goes in the middle. You put 3 numbers. The number you're graphing with, the number below, and the number above. I'm not going to make you put in 5 numbers. So W is greater than or equal to 0. Since it's got the bar, you fill in the circle. W has the big N. Big numbers live to the right. You've got it? So -4. -5, -3. It's got the bar, so it's going to be a closed circle. B has the little point, little numbers live left. Any questions? 5 goes in the middle, 4, 5, 6. J is greater than 5. Open circle, J has the big N. Big numbers live to the right. Any questions? Okay, -2, -3, -1. Closed circle. T has the little point. Little numbers live left. Now later on, kids, the variable is not always going to be on the left. Sometimes they'll put it on the right. So just check. If the variable has the little point, little numbers live left. If the variable has the big N, the wide open, then it goes to the right. Okay, open circle, -5, -6, -4. Big N, big numbers live to the right. 0, -1, +1. Open circle. Y has the little n, little numbers live right. Any questions? Now when we do a quiz or a test, you get a point if your circle's the correct way, because you get a point if it's, if you have a closed circle and it's supposed to be open, you get a point off. And then you get a point for the direction that your arrow goes. So these are like 2-point problems. Any questions? All right. So what I want you to do right now, I think we'll just sort of save this for later. So let's stop. And now we're going to go to our math book, and we're going to go to page 497 in your math book. 497. What? Well then, I'm going to pause. Okay, so now we are in Chapter 6, Lesson 6, page 497, Solve Inequalities by Addition or Subtraction. Well, we did the little review worksheet, so now you at least know what an inequality is. You can put your Chromebooks away, and we did our little review lesson on how to use your math books online. We're going to skip the first page and go to page 498, page 498, solve inequalities. You can solve inequalities by using the addition property of inequalities. It's just like the addition property of equations, except you have an inequality sign instead. And the subtraction property of inequalities. When you add or subtract the same number from each side of an inequality, the inequality remains true. So, if A is greater than B, then A plus C is greater than B plus C. And A minus C is greater than B minus C. All right, let's just look at it with actual numbers. So, 2 is less than 4. If you add 3 to 2 and 3 to 4, it is still a true inequality. 5 is less than 7. Here, our inequality states 6 is greater than 3. If you subtract 4 from both sides, 2 is still greater than -1. Now it states, an inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares two quantities. We wrote that down on our paper earlier. You might want to draw a line underneath it. It says solving an inequality means finding values for the variable that make the inequality true. We already wrote this information down on our worksheet. That's the same information. Now we're going to go to how to solve one-step inequalities. Let's just rewrite this problem over here. X plus 3 is greater than 10. How do you get rid of a plus 3? Minus 3, and you show it on both sides. Bring down your inequality sign. X is greater than 7. So anything greater than 7 will be true for that. And then they have the check step. Replace X with 8. Is this sentence true? It is. 11 is greater than 10. It is a true statement. Yeah. After I'm done with the notes, you can. Now let's go on to page 499. Here we are doing it with integers. So let's rewrite this problem. -6 is greater than or equal to n minus 5. To get rid of a subtracting 5, add 5, add 5. That cancels. Bring down your inequality sign. -6 plus 5 is -1. -1 is greater than or equal to n, or you could have n is less than or equal to -1. They're both true. And I know you kids like it this way better than that way when it's written. Okay, I want you to do A and B right now. Did everyone get A is less than 11 for that problem? And for B, now you're working with decimals. No calculator today. You have to practice this. Y is greater than or equal to 6 6/10. Any questions? Okay. Then in number 3, to undo adding a half, you subtract a half from both sides. A is less than 1 1/2. Any questions? Now, we're going to add graphing it. What does the graph look like? Well, 1 1/2 is in between 1 and 2. It's an open circle because it doesn't have the bar underneath. A has the little point. Little numbers live to the left. Okay? Now let's do C and D. So we're going to put 0, -1, 1, open circle. The variable has the big N. Big numbers live to the right. Any questions on that? Add 6, add 6. X is less than or equal to 10. So I have 10. All right, it's going to be a closed circle because it's got the equal sign. X has the little point. Little numbers live to the left. Any questions? Okay, let's go to example 4. And in example 4, it says, inequalities can be used to represent real-world situations. Now we have the word problems. You will want to first identify a variable to represent the unknown value. Dylan has $18 to ride go-karts and play games at the state fair. Suppose the go-karts cost $5.50. Write and solve an inequality to find the most he can spend on games. Well, the total amount is 18. Go-karts 5.5 plus the cost of games is less than or equal to 18. Can it equal 18? Yes, or less. So it'll look like that. So minus 5.5 from both sides. X is less than or equal to 12.5. So the most Dylan can spend on games is $12.50. Now, I want you to do the guided practice, and then I will give you the answers in just a few minutes. So the answer for this one, minus 6 minus 6, H is greater than or equal to 6. Whoops, that's a 5, 6, 7. Closed circle, big numbers live to the right. Number 2, minus 14, minus 14. T is greater than, add the opposite, negative 9. So I'm going to put my negative 9 in the middle. Open circle, big N, big numbers live to the right. Any questions? Number 3, an elevator can hold 2,800 pounds or less. Write and solve an inequality to describes how much more weight the elevator can hold if it is currently holding 2,375 pounds. So in that problem, and it says to interpret the solution. What they want you to do there, let's see, does it tell us which variable to use? No. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm just going to use X. So X plus 2,375, can it equal 2,800? Yes. Can it be bigger or smaller? Smaller. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay, now we have to solve. Subtract 2,375, subtract 2,375, bring down your inequality sign. X has to be less than or equal to 425. Any questions? Okay, so what would I like for you to do for homework? Your assignment for today is going to be on page 501. I want you to do all of the problems on page 501. Page 501, do all 12. All, which is 1 to 12. Go to the next page. I want you to do number 13. And then on the last page, let's do 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, we need to practice writing the inequalities. 23, 24, and 25. We'll do these other problems with the fractions. We do have to practice those, but we'll practice those later. And then, and the worksheet won't take long. I would also like for you to finish in the packet.
Number 20 has fractions on it too.
Well, that's okay. It's only one, but the ones on the bottom, that's really important to make sure you know how to do your fractions. So we're going to practice those. We'll probably use those for bell work, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. In the packet, this won't take long. Just use open, closed circles and make it go to the right or left. So do all on this side. You can get that done in probably a minute or less. And then on the back side, do all of these also. All right, so let's get going. You have about 25 minutes. You can easily get this done in 25 minutes. Yes. I'm going to give you your test back, so not right now. All right, there we go. Have a good day.